So everyone, this is Jake Minnick from Therapist Talks. We're gonna do another reaction video. This will be the Dr. John Delaney show. He is part of the Dave Ramsey crew. So I'm not gonna lie, this psychologist is not quite my cup of tea. We just have different beliefs on just maybe like life in general, but how therapy should be done. I think he goes well with the Dave Ramsey show. I just remember how excited I was when Dave Ramsey, who he's like the financial guru and whatnot, was deciding to get a psychologist onto the show, and then this guy came on the show, and again, look, I'm not trying to dislike him as a person, but I have a lot of strong disagreements with him and how he does therapy or his reactions and whatnot to people and what. But anyways, I feel like this is gonna be a good topic, so figure I'd give it a shot for this reaction video. It's a pretty juicy topic. Again, topic is our title. I'm sleeping with my best friend's wife, and I will be doing a reaction video after that. So, yeah, without further ado, let's begin. Yeah.
My wife and I, we've been married for about 5 years, and in that time frame, I was able to reconnect with a friend of mine that I had made, a male friend of mine that I had made after high school and whatnot. Started to kind of hang out with him, and found out kind of through hanging out with him that his wife kind of made a pass at me, and we have been in an affair now for the last probably 8 months or so. We've obviously talked about.
So again, it'll be interesting how I kind of do this reaction video and how John Delaney does this reaction video. But again, right off the bat, I'm just assuming, again, he was not happy in his marriage. I don't know if they were getting into a lot of arguments. They're getting into a lot of disagreements. I can imagine they weren't in couples therapy, or again, I'm just assuming. I don't know for sure, but obviously, a lot of boundary issues are being crossed. Like you mentioned, his best friend's wife started making flirty passes at him. So again, more maybe emotional boundaries occurred first, and then physical boundaries, and then, like he said, it went into a full blown affair. So again, as I said, is my marriage over? But again, I don't know if he's going to be asking how do I recover from this, but we'll keep going.
Uh, just about everything under the sun, and I guess I'm trying to figure out, if am I interested in this person, or is it just the thrill of having an affair and doing something obviously that you're not supposed to do.
Okay, so I get it. I'm not saying it's right, but yeah, the thrill, the excitement of affair, or like the saying of like forbidden fruit, and sleeping with a married woman is like that forbidden fruit. But again, you're married too, dude, and I don't know if he's more of asking like, is it just time for a divorce for my wife, and should I pursue this new relationship? Who again, she's also married to his best friend. So again, it's toxic, it's messy. I'm not judging the situation. I'm just calling it how I kind of see it. And yes, lots of trauma and drama about to happen.
And so I'm trying to figure out how to figure that out. Because I just want a little bit of advice on how to progress forward with that.
Oh man. So let me just walk it back and you can just tell me up or down. So you are sleeping with a great friend's wife.
Correct.
Does your friend know?
He does not.
Does your wife know?
She does not.
And so you're not calling me to ask like, oh God, I've blown up my life and my wife's life. And I've blown up one of my close buddies' lives. It's not why you're calling. You're calling to ask, is this true love or not?
I'm calling to ask because, in the time that I've chatted with this person, we've talked a lot more about the physical nature of things. And, there's been times where we've both had the idea that.
So it's getting emotional. So I think what he's trying to implied that it's not just sex, there's like emotional connection too. So again, I wonder if he's like debating on leaving his wife, but again, to do that, you have to have the hard conversation of like, yeah, I've been having an affair with you, and then she's got to go to her then husband or current husband and say the same thing, and not going to be good.
Our lives potentially could be better with that other person, but obviously that's not something that I want to. I don't want to jump into something, or I don't want it to technically pursue something and then.
Here, okay, I never thought I'd say this. I think me and John might have similar opinions on this, but I'm just gonna go for it. His thing is he needs to worry about his current relationship with his wife and his marriage. And again, if you want to try to fix that, and if you don't want to fix that or attempt to do couples therapy, then obviously you'd go the divorce route. What I always tell people is that, therapy is always good. Does your spouse want therapy? And if they say no, I tend to express like, okay, that could be a red flag, because it's like they're saying you're the one with the problem, not them. Again, I'm not giving therapy. I'm not diagnosing anyone in this video, but that's just usually how it works, like in my experience. So yeah, he needs to focus on like his marriage right now and handling that dynamic before I feel like he jumps into like another relationship. Which he has, but you know what I mean.
Turns out it was just because of the thrill of an affair. I mean, my wife and I, we've had our struggles and our issues pre the involvement of the affair, or my friend almost called it off a few different times without that being a factor.
So is he saying that his friend almost got divorced a couple times with his wife? Again, I don't know if I heard her right or wrong, but if that is true, it's just like that does not give you the right to have an affair. I mean, again, you could do that and commit the sin or whatever, but that's not a green light to go and do what you did.
I think it was just kind of came across at the timing that I was the most vulnerable to accept it. But yeah.
So I guess the best thing I could tell you, or the right thing I could tell you, is you are so what it's like you're watching The Lion King. You're watching you're watching like a Disney movie in the theater, and you're watching these animals all talking to each other, and you're wondering what it would be like to talk to one of those animals too. Like,
okay,
you're
like he's living in Fantasyland. I don't know where John's getting with this, but okay, like cartoon movie, everything's happy, they have a great time. It's a cartoon, Fantasyland. I don't know.
Your questions are so divorced from the reality with which you actually find yourself that it tells me that you've had to construct a world where this is okay, and there's a world that everything's going to be okay on the other end of this. Because if you didn't have that kind of psychological moat around what you're actually doing, you would implode, because you become somebody that you could never have imagined you would be. You're sleeping
that makes sense.
You're sleeping with one of your.
Okay, dude, John, there were so many different ways you could have said that without the psycho mumbo jumbo, dude. And I'm not trying to be a dickhead. Maybe it's just because I don't like him as a therapist. I don't know, but in a clinical, like, you could have said that in a much easier way. Maybe it is because I don't like the guy. I don't know, but let's keep going.
Closest friends' wives, period.
Yeah. Which is it's an intense traumatic thing. Yes.
Right.
Actively for over a year having sex with somebody that's not your wife, putting her at physical danger, putting her at grave emotional danger. I mean, like, in what does he mean by physical danger? Like that her husband would find out and then assault her? I want to know what he means by that. Like, you're putting her at physical danger. Sure, which it could happen. Yeah, like the husband comes home, catches them. Yeah. Thinking about is, man, isn't this going to be wonderful on the other side of this thing? It's kind of like watching. It's like you're in Los Angeles right now, watching your house burn down, and wondering where you're going to put the new kitchen during the rebuild.
Okay. Okay, this is where our similarities come in hand. Okay, so this is what he's saying about like what I was saying is that okay, Fantasyland, he's not focused on his marriage right now. And he used the analogy of like house burning down. I don't even know if I gave an analogy, but it's just like there's a huge issue with you and your wife right now. That's going to be a really difficult, emotional, traumatic like conversation you're going to have with the divorce, the cheating, and it's more of like you need to focus on that than what this other thing is over here, which is causing the negative issues at the moment. And you're already predicting a future with her, not considering like all the emotional baggage that's occurring in the moment. So, all right, my bad, John. Maybe I was a little hard on you, but I think I know where you're going with this.
Right.
Like you're not absorbing reality. And so, number one, no place in this conversation are we talking about how are these feelings real or not. Not until we've looked your wife in the eye and said, I've blown our marriage up and I don't want to be with you anymore.
Yeah.
Not until you've looked your buddy in the eye and said, I've been sleeping with your wife for a year and I'm sorry.
Betrayal.
And after the ash settles back to earth, after that conversation,
Yep.
those conversations, then you can ask yourself, okay, are we in a relationship? Are we going to try to build this thing and make it go and move forward together? Which the percentages on that, just the scientifically, the percentages of those relationships being successful are very, very, very low.
Right. I have heard like very small percentage chance, but yeah, because there's gonna be so much trauma in so many different corners with like your best friend, his wife, your wife. Like this is gonna be such a traumatic, life altering event that like okay, I'll agree with John. It's gonna be extremely difficult for you both, as in the person you're cheating on your wife with, to just pick everything up and continue a healthy relationship and then marriage and whatever. So
Right.
Because then the old bumper sticker, like, it's true. Somewhere somebody else is tired of her too. And you also, right? Like y'all just living in a fantasy world where you don't have to deal with reality. You just get to have these romantic, oh my gosh, conversations, and you get me in passion, and we get to have sex, and there's nothing anchored to it in reality, like dishes and bills and hey, we're trying to build a life together, and I want to do this, but I want to do this. Y'all are skipping all of that. So until you anchor back into earth, any conversations y'all have are just fantasy. They're just Disney movies. They're not real. Why haven't you sat down and had that conversation with your wife yet?
Because he doesn't want to.
So we've been obviously dealing, like I had previously stated, we had been dealing with our own obviously struggles.
Yeah, but you took struggle. Every marriage has struggle. I've had nightmare struggles. You went the next step.
Right.
Yeah.
So haven't sat down and talked with her about it because I guess I'm kind of put it in my mind that if this marriage that I have with my wife were to potentially fail, that
it's failing right now, and what you're doing is not helping, and it's not even me. I'm not being judgmental, but it's just the reality of what I'm hearing this guy put himself through. Right. And again, and this goes for everyone. I know it's happened. Like, your life's getting hard. You're getting into fights and arguments with your wife. That does not give you the right or an excuse to cheat on your wife. You work it out. You go to therapy. You go to couples therapy. Like that, in my opinion, that is the blueprint to any healthy marriage or relationship. But again, you also have the right to say, like, no, I don't want to do therapy. No, I don't want to do couples therapy. I don't think this relationship's working. I want a divorce. That is an option, and there's no judgment. You can go that route if you want to, but you need to make that decision. It's either one or the other. You want to make it work or divorce. And I think what this guy was doing, John might be getting into this, is he kind of kept it 50-50 or so-called fantasy land of like, I just want to keep enjoying this moment. This woman, my best friend's girlfriend, is like an escape. I'm going to take advantage of it. And he's not living in reality. He's like, I don't know, numbing reality or just trying to escape from it when in reality you can't.
Didn't want this reasoning of what's going on be
bro, you have failed it. Like, you're the failure. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm sure she's got her own challenges. I'm not saying she's perfect, but
Right.
like, you're actively sleeping with your buddy's wife, and you're like, well, if this thing doesn't work right, it's like you're the one that's not working right in it. You get what I'm saying?
Right. No, I'm aware of that part. What I'm saying is that, like,
I don't think he is. I really don't think he is fully aware. I think consciously he thinks he's aware, but not subconsciously. I don't think he does. He's not emotionally feeling it. I think it's just more just words, and like his full body and emotions and heart are not in it.
obviously, our marriage pre this had obviously its problems. We were trying to, work on those things, and I obviously made the mistake initially. And
I want to know how he was working on those things. What was he doing with his wife to work on those things? Was it just him working with himself or her? I'd be very interested to know that.
her and I, we haven't engaged in anything in a while because obviously I'm taking a step back, but it's also one of those that it's at the point where I feel like in order to build with my wife, if that's what her and I choose to do, then I need to obviously be upfront and honest with her about everything that has happened. And if I do that, then
bro, listen. You're, and I'm really close to compassionate for you right now. I'm frustrated with you. I'm angry with you. But I'm also compassionate because I think you have created a delusion that you live in. And you use
I wouldn't disagree with that.
You use these huge circular, and then we might. Listen to me so carefully. You're having sex with another man's wife, and you're going home and you're laying in your bed next to yours. You're having sex with your buddy's wife. And then y'all go have dinner together as a foursome. That is where everything has to start.
I think what John...
You can't be sleeping with somebody else's wife and trying to...
I think John's getting an emotional reaction to this. This is like one of the things that, again, I dislike about his style. But I think what John is trying to do is he wants this guy to like feel the pain of the situation. And I think what John is sensing, and I'll agree, I sense it too, that this guy's not taking it seriously, or he's not really understanding the full emotional effect of what's happening and how other people in this combination are going to be so extremely affected by the actions of two people. And I think John might be getting a reaction because he's sensing like this guy is just not fully aware of it. And I think the guy just a little bit ago said he disagreed with John too. So it's just, I think John comes from like Southern values, strict religion values and whatnot. And that's just, I'm Northern Midwestern. Again, like I've had religion in my life and whatnot, and I'm spiritual, but not to the degree he is. And I think that's what a lot of Dave Ramsey's show is about. Again, Dave Ramsey's a financial guru, whatever, but I don't always agree with his methods at times. But I think he's a great guy when it comes to financial advice. But anyways, I digress. We'll keep going.
If your marriage is gonna make it. That's madness, yeah. Will. Madness. And you can't be hanging out with your buddy while you're banging his wife and be like, well, I'm trying to figure out if our feelings are right or wrong.
Just like a ultimate sense of betrayal that his friend's going to feel, his wife's going to feel. Like I said, there's going to be so many people, or not so many, but two people who are going to be significantly impacted. Well, everybody's going to get very like highly emotionally impacted by the situation.
What are you doing, man? You get what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying. I think
so. Like today needs to be.
I don't think the guy gets it. I don't think he gets it. I really don't. But it's all right. We'll keep going.
Today needs to be the day that you tell your wife, we got to talk. I've been having an 8-month affair with our mutual friends.
Yep. And
I've blown our marriage to smithereens. Yes, we had problems. Yes, there were holes in the boat, and I detonated it.
No excuse to that.
And you, being a grown man, need to say, I've already got me an apartment. I've already got me a friend's couch to crash on because I know I've blown your world up and I don't want you to have to move to. And maybe she comes back and says, well, I should probably tell you I've been sleeping with somebody else too. Maybe.
But see, that's what I don't like about John. Though he's telling this guy literally what to do, and I so strongly disagree with his therapy style. It's just he's ordering. He's like, "This is what you need to do. This is the Southern religious way of doing things, and that's that." And I really truly despise that way of therapy and that belief system. I really do. Um,
Right? Maybe. Who knows? Is she having an affair too?
I would.
how would he know? Like what? And some of the questions he asks are just so extremely stupid too. It's just like that. How would he know that? It's so extremely dumb of him to even say
Doubt
that.
it.
So
Okay.
Obviously, I don't know, but
And then you ask your friend, I'm going to meet you in a diner here in Nashville. We got to talk.
mm. That I don't know. Well, again, I'll give John another break. It's not like he's actually doing therapy, one-on-one therapy on here. You can't. Like in a setting like this with thousands of people listening, watching, you cannot do traditional psychotherapy too. So the device is not going to be that great. Again, bear with me, people. I know I'm like tearing them down, building them up, but I'm trying to be a good guy now and empathize with how another therapist does his stuff. So,
Or you tell the woman you're having an affair with, hey, you got 24 hours because I got to come clean with my buddy.
but yeah.
I've become somebody that I never dreamed I would be, and I have to stop.
I think that's where I've been struggling because it's like
Yeah, because you're probably gonna be getting ready for an ass kicking. Sorry, that's not my therapy talk. But I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, yeah, like that is a dicey situation, but like it's really hard. But yeah, like, and please comment down below. How would you handle a situation like this? But God, this is tough. This is tough. And I'm not gonna judge myself or John on the advice that we give to people in the situation because that is tough because both parties need to know the truth. His best friend needs to know the truth, and his wife needs to know the truth. And it's like I said, it's going to be messy. And just the fact that, yeah, let's say he goes to a restaurant or a bar and tells his friend, I'm not assuming that a fist fight's going to happen, but fireworks in a negative way can come off. So
have gotten far down the road, obviously. And I think in my mind, I have this delusion that there is a different path out besides going back.
There's not a way to land
And-
the plane. There is no going back, but your fantasy about how this plane lands is false too. Both are true.
like you said, it's not like you two are going to get divorced, no issues, no drama. You're going to reconnect and live happily ever after. I think John's getting at that, which I agree. It's very low percentage just because all the emotional trauma that's going to occur is going to be significant.
So there's no going back. You blew it up. The boat's gone. You and your wife might choose to go to swim to shore amid all the rubble and rebuild a new boat. That happens all the time.
Couples therapy, family therapy, couples therapy. And that's another thing I dislike about like this show or these shows that they always talk about. See a pastor, priest, they also bring up therapy and counseling. I'll give them that, but I don't think it's completely out of a pastor or priest's scope of practice to do therapy or anything in that type of field or in that helping nature. And again, I respect what they do, but this is so extremely out of their realm. But again, that's a Yankee me Minnesotan talking right now. It's not like a Southern Baptist or religion that they are a part of, or I think Dave Ramsey is Baptist, and yeah.
And I'll walk with you if that's what y'all want to do. You and this other person have a sliver, teeny tiny sliver of statistical probability that you've blown up your life, she's blown up hers, and y'all choose to build a boat together on whatever shore y'all swim to. Maybe. But you'll always wonder if she's sleeping with somebody else like she did with you, and vice versa.
But again, that's not true. That's not true. And it's that's such a layman thing to say. Right, I get it. Yeah, it's just like once you cheat, you're always cheater like mentality bullshit. I don't respect or appreciate. It's like trust in the therapy, and trust is a therapeutic process that can be healed. And John's pretty much saying like, no, it's not.
It's very shaky ground to build a new thing, but it happens. But there is no like then you have a hard conversation with your wife and she's like, well, I don't really want to work on this. And you're like, that's cool. I already have a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house with somebody else. And your buddy, her husband is like, well, it didn't work out this time. That's just not how this ends, man.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
And so the quicker you can re-anchor to reality and from a place from the inside out, because dude, you have created a verbal gymnastic studio that you just swirl around and ride the monkey bars in, but your feet never touch the ground. You've got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, dude, I blew my life up.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel that?
I think obviously,
like I hear no remorse, no,
Yeah.
like, well.
no, I think it's one of those that I'm trying to, obviously I haven't let many people, if anybody, know about this situation, so obviously I've only ever had my opinions weigh on it. And so having, an outside source weigh in on it is obviously beneficial, but it's also making me hear things that I haven't heard, obviously. Things that are accurate, but I haven't heard because I'm not telling myself those.
You need to.
And this
After
is what
this call,
because everyone likes to think that obviously
it's the thing we work on in trauma therapy. He's intellectualizing every single thing right now. He's trying to explain for it, his feelings and emotions, and he's not getting in touch with his body and the trauma that his body could be experiencing right now. He's like numbing it, and he's tried to like over explain everything, or like I said, over intellectualize things and try to. It's more of like a cognitive thinking type of approach that he's like doing with himself in this situation, and he's not feeling the trauma or the emotions within his body in the situation. So again, I'm not saying he does have a lot of trauma and that he's just kind of like freezing and numbing this right now, but I think that's what's like causing John's frustration is like because this guy and I agree with John. He doesn't get it. He's not feeling it. He's not feeling the pain, the remorse, because he's just over intellectualizing everything he's saying in the situation.
a good way to land, every plane in life, obviously. So, I think I have been caught up trying to figure out if it's possible to land it versus actually realizing that it's not.
There's no landing.
What you're trying to do is to convince yourself that if this is actually love or this is actually viable, these feelings and the excitement of sleeping with somebody that's not your wife, which, dude, I don't begrudge you that one bit. You probably feel alive every time you sneak away, every time you almost get caught and you don't. It won't surprise me at all if you felt dead in your own skin for the last 5, 6, 7 years, however long you've been with her. I get that. But you're trying to convince yourself that these feelings are somehow valid in the grand scheme of the cosmos and that it will justify destroying your wife's life and destroying the life of your buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And so 2 things. Love is not a feeling. It's a choice you make every single day. It's a decision. And a marriage is a choice that 2 people make every single day of their life, man. And so whatever happens with this other person, y'all have to choose that every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Except that choice is going to be anchored into styrofoam because she's capable of blowing this whole thing up at any time. And I am too. And she'll know that about you. That's why, statistically speaking, it's very unlikely that it continues.
But again, through strong couples therapy and therapy in general, I think that could be overcome. But again, there's so many things that need to happen or to occur for that to, again, happen. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not giving them therapy, couples therapy. It's an extremely difficult situation.
But again, it's part of this psychological construct you're trying to build. Like your plane is going down and you're trying to like figure out the right way to pull the cushions off of the airplane seats so you'll land comfortably. It's not going to happen. So what I'll
Right.
tell you is at the end of this thing, there's a fire. You can do a control burn right now and try, or you can just wait till the whole thing goes up in smoke. But it's going
It's like rip the Band-Aid off mentality. It's like the slow peel or just rip it off. And I always find ripping it off is the best way.
to catch fire. It's already on fire.
Yeah, I think I spent too much time dancing around and
Yes.
trying to figuring out how to make the fire as small as possible, when in reality the focus should be on that the
Exactly.
fire is happening regardless.
And I need you to internalize in your guts, your house has already burned to the ground.
Yeah.
Hers too.
Yeah, because like a lot in the situations like this, or a lot of situations, just like the spouse knows something's going on for a long time. And both parties, it's like, when you see red flag related behavior, but you just sweep it under the rug. Part of me wonders, like, if this has been going on with him and his wife for a while now.
They're gone. They're over. The marriage you had is over.
Mhm.
The marriage she had is over. The little play time y'all have together is over. Y'all have
Yeah.
to decide what we're going to build next. But, bro, you've got to come back and re-anchor the ground, man.
Yeah, I think John is more so like it's time for you to get back into reality and handle the situation that's about to come. But anyways, we'll stop here. I let this video go on a little bit longer than planned, just because I thought something different might have happened. But overall, good video. Yeah, so everyone, I really appreciate you listening to my YouTube videos. Again, I just started. Again, it's just something I'm working on my career. I tend to be too hard on fellow therapists and whatever, and I'm really trying to work on that because it doesn't help me as a person being hard. And again, I was a little hard on John, and I think that really comes from like me being a perfectionist, or if I don't do certain things the right way, then I criticize myself, and I tend to do that to other people. And I'm going to start working on that with myself. And I don't know, sometimes I don't feel good criticizing other therapists. I mean, it's okay to criticize in like a healthy way. But anyways, I don't want to get too far into it, but it was a pretty good video, I felt. Please let me know if you like the content and if you would have said anything different. But anyways, until next time, please be well, and I'll talk to you later.